Hello everybody out there. So for today's video, I wanted to do a video on what you put out is what you attract. I know in the grand scheme of things, a lot of people already have heard of this before, like in general life, like karma or like putting out good vibes or bad vibes and you're getting the same thing back in return. But I feel like a lot of times we don't talk about it within like the dating realm, is like what you're putting out, like whether you're aware of it or not, is what you're gonna find in the dating world. So if you're single, listen up, pay attention. This is some good, hard truth knowledge. I don't think it's controversial. I don't think there's much controversy to be had about what I say once I'm done saying it. I think it might rub some people the wrong way because you might have to evaluate like what you're putting out in the universe and therefore what you're attracting to you, or vice versa, whichever way you want to look at it first. So to start off though, I do want to I want to put something out there in the beginning of this video, which is that I am a big proponent, big believer that a person has to be happy by themselves, single, have their shit together over here before they get into a serious long-term committed relationship. I don't believe in some of those things people will say where like, oh, two people are broken and they come together and they're one. It's like, no, if you take it's just not the way it fucking works. So like your house needs to be in order, your shit needs to be in order first before you can go and try and find someone else who has their shit in order as well. Because if you're trying to find people and you're broken, or you're put together and you're going out and finding broken people, it's never gonna work. Because if you take half of a broken glass and half of a broken glass and you super glue that shit together, over time, there's those little cracks that are in there that are going to be somewhat different, are gonna rub and rub and rub, and eventually water's gonna spill out. So eventually, same thing, you're gonna have a relationship with someone where you're not whole and they're not whole. Even if everything's great in the beginning, eventually it's gonna blow up. And more than likely, it's not gonna be a long-term sustainable relationship. I know it's not what a lot of people wanna hear, because a lot of people might currently be in relationships where they went into a relationship broken and their partner was broken and now everything's hunky-dory okay. I'm not saying it's every single time, but the vast majority of times, that is what's gonna end up happening, is that things are gonna blow up. So, getting that out of the way, just so that that's clear and like we have a base layer to work from. One big thing that I think happens a lot, especially I feel like it happens for men even more so, is that we are fixers. And I think women do the same thing, or women are fixers. Like whether it's because, and I don't think it's always because, so I'm gonna like just push this other like thought, put it in front, talk about it, and then like say that I think it's bullshit. But some people will tell you, if you are a fixer, if you find yourself in relationships where you're always dating people you have to fix, it's because you don't feel good about yourself, you need to fix yourself, you had a bad child relationship with your parents or whatever it may be, so you feel like you need to be fixed, so you need to fix somebody else so that you can avoid fixing yourself. But I'm gonna confidently tell you that even if you are someone who is a completely whole, grounded person, you still might find yourself as a fixer, because that might just be who you are. I feel like like I said, it's even more common, I feel like, actually with men and women. I think a lot of women want to go and fix a guy, and a lot of men want to fix a woman, because that's just kind of who they are as people. So I'm not saying it has anything to do with your childhood. It very well could, but I think for a lot of people it doesn't, and that's kind of bullshit. So if you are someone who feels like you need to fix somebody, you are going to end up attracting people, or if you enjoy that, or if that's what you're looking for, then you're going to end up attracting people into your life that you're going to be dating and are going to be interacting with you who need to be fixed. You're not going to be attracting people who are whole, grounded, holistic people. But I'm also going to tell you, usually if you're someone who is a fixer and that's what you're doing in relationships, it does probably mean that some part of your life is not completely holistic and like leveled and like foundational. The reason being is if your shit was all put together, you wouldn't feel the need to go and fix somebody. Because someone coming into a relationship who has stuff that they need to work on, things they need to change for themselves, you're not going to want to take care of that. You're not going to want to deal with that, because you're initially meeting them. You identify these problems or issues that they have. You're going to have your shit together. You're not going to want to get into like a long-term committed relationship with somebody that you need to fix or change. And again, it's kind of the same thing on the back end. A lot of people got to realize, like, if that's your mentality, is that you're a fixer and that's what you're attracting, you need to get your shit in order first. Stop putting out that you need to work on your shit. And also, if you're just somebody who has your shit in order and you're putting out that vibe, like that you enjoy that, or that's something that you feel like you're supposed to do, or you feel like it's I've met guys before who think it's romantic, and women who think it's romantic, like, oh, if I fix this person, I'll help them through their problems and they'll love me. But I'm telling you, people don't usually want to change unless they change for themselves. So you have to get to the point in time where you're comfortable enough and grounded enough with yourself, your shit and house is in order, that you're not going to get into a long-term committed relationship with somebody who is not ready to fix themselves, who's not actively working on fixing their shit. Because all you're going to do is pour a bunch of effort into somebody else, and it's going to tear your shit down. And that happens a lot of times where women get into these relationships with men. They have this problem or that problem. They don't have a job, whatever it may be, and the women try and fix them. And it ends up tearing down the woman in the relationship as she builds the man up. And then, you know, however many months down the road, years down the road, she's tore down, beat down, exhausted, and he's, you know, doing better. And then he's like, oh, well, I'm doing, not always, but a lot of times, oh, I'm doing better, so peace out, Girl Scout, like, take care, good luck. So if you fall into the fixer category, try and realize that either you need to get your shit in order, or even if it is in order, you need to reframe your mentality that your shit's in order so that you want to be with somebody who has their shit in order. So that's what you're putting out now, is that I have my stuff in a box, it's good to go. I also want to find someone who has that, and I'm not going to accept somebody who's not in that same position. From there, it's not just people that are fixers. A lot of times people are going to put out other things into the universe when it comes to dating. I can tell you personally that I have met friends before who, for whatever reason, I don't know why, if it's relationships with their mom, relationships with other women they've dated in the past, but they have like a long string of dating very like rude, abrupt, bitchy women, for like a lack of a better way of putting it. And they put out a very, like, just being honest, very beta male vibe, very beta male, very beta male vibe. And when they end up doing that, what are you going to attract? You're usually not going to attract like a very relaxed beta female. Usually when you're putting out that vibe, you're going to get a very alpha female. Whether it's a really attractive alpha female, probably not. And the reason being is that usually attractive alpha females are going to be looking for attractive alpha males, because that's what they're going to be going for, those type A type of personalities. So usually if you're putting out beta male vibes, you're going to find alpha females who really aren't alpha females. They just want to pretend like they are. And they're going to be not usually that attractive, not that nice, kind of bitchy. And if they are attractive, they're going to usually be kind of bitchy and kind of rude and not treat you the way that you want to be treated. And I'm not saying this is every single time, but what I am saying is, again, if you're putting out that vibe that you got this beta male and you're going to be walked all over, you're going to attract people that are going to walk all over you. And it's the same thing again with women. I'm not going to say that a woman's necessarily putting out a beta male vibe, but if a woman's putting out this, oh, I'll let you walk all over me and you can get away with murder, what are you going to attract? You're going to end up attracting guys who are shitty men, who are going to treat you shitty, who are going to pick up your vibe like, oh, I can walk all over her. And they're the type of men who don't respect you, don't respect themselves, and they are going to walk all over you, and they're not going to give a fuck about it. And they're going to get away with murder until you cut them off, or they find somebody else, or they cheat, or whatever else happens. So it's another good classic example of the vibe that you put out is what you're going to attract. And it's the same thing, even if it's not like the whole like beta vibe or more relaxed vibe or getting walked all over vibe. If you just put out a vibe for anything, like I said, if you put out the vibe that you're going to allow someone to treat you bad, a lot of times you're going to attract that. You're going to attract those type of people. Another thing that I would tell you is that if you do the opposite, now if you look at it from the positive scope, if you have your house in order, kind of back to the beginning, if you have your house in order, I'm not saying you have to own a home. I'm not saying you have to have a degree. I'm not saying any of that shit, but I'm just saying you have basic stuff. You love yourself. You respect yourself. You have a job. You're working on a career. Maybe you're going to school. I don't care. But you have your shit. You have your own place, or maybe you have roommates, whatever it is, but you have like your own shit in order. You're going to start attracting people that are also doing that. I can confidently tell you, like within my own life, the moment in time where I was like, okay, I'm going to finish my degree, get my career in check, and get my fucking life figured out, that was the moment in time that I started putting out the vibes that I was a higher quality person. So I started attracting more higher quality women in my life. And it's going to go both ways for men and women. When you have your shit in order, when you're valuing yourself, you love yourself, you're in a centered place, you're going to attract people who are on a similar path and a similar mindset. But when your shit's fucked up, or you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, and maybe you're not taking life as seriously, or you're kind of putting out the vibe like, I don't respect myself, or I don't love myself, you're going to attract people who probably don't love themselves and don't respect themselves or don't have their shit together. And then you ask yourself, like, why do I keep on ending up in relationships with assholes? Well, you're probably putting out a vibe that either one, maybe you're kind of an asshole, so you're attracting more assholes, or you might be just putting out the vibe that you don't respect yourself, you don't love yourself, so you're putting out the vibe that I'll be taken advantage of, and people see that, they smell that shit, and you attract them to you. So it's really this balancing act of having your shit in order and having like your set expectations of like what you want. And then I swear to you, you will start to put that vibe out in the universe, and that is what you will attract to you. And I said it kind of ties back in holistically to life as well, where the vibes you put out, the things you're doing is what you're going to attract to you, but it's even more true in relationships, and it's going to be the same thing in friendships. Is if you're putting out this vibe that I like to party and get fucked up all the time, like, are you going to attract people who are super high intellectual and own their own businesses? More than likely not. More than likely you're going to attract people who are on that same path of getting fucked up and going and partying and all this other jazz. So I know it's kind of a quick video and kind of a quick perspective, but I just feel like a lot of times we get trapped in this cycle of being in shitty relationships with other people, men and women, that aren't good, aren't healthy, and we don't understand why, but it keeps happening, but it comes back to you. And I think another thing that I can tell you, and like this was a little more touchy, but I'm still gonna say it because I feel like it deserves to be said. And I don't want to put any blame on men or women who are in abusive relationships. I don't want to say like, oh, it's their fault. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am going to tell you is if you keep on attracting, not one or two, but if you continually keep on attracting verbally abusive or physically abusive partners, then there is something within you that you are putting out into the universe that is attracting those type of people to you. So you need to realize, maybe you need to go to counseling. Maybe you have shit that you haven't taken care of from your childhood, a past relationship, someone passing away, whatever it may be, but you are putting something out that is attracting these shitty people. And part of you needs to get more, like I said, more level and more grounded, because if you are a confident person who loves yourself, you are not going to put up with jack shit of someone who's physically or verbally or emotionally abusive. You're going to kick that shit to the curb. But if you keep on ending up in those relationships, and I have lots of male friends, I can't really say female friends. If I had female friends who continually ended up in physical abusive relationships, I probably would have gone to jail already. So thank God that hasn't been like my experience. But I have lots of male friends who end up in not physically abusive, but verbally abusive relationships where the women yell at them or curse at them, and they're like really good guys. But I'm going to tell you, a lot of times it's because men do not feel love for themselves. They're not whole. They're not solidified. So you're putting out this, I'll accept whatever the fuck you give me vibe. And until you put out the vibe like, hey, I love myself. I respect myself. This is what the fuck I expect from people in my life. Until you do that and stand up for yourself, you're going to keep on attracting those same type of people over and over and over. And it's just not a healthy dynamic. So I guess like as far as advice, again, like I think the only thing I really can give you is I feel like the last couple of videos I've done, I haven't really given like the, hey, go do this or try this, is again, you need to sit down with yourself, look yourself in the mirror, give yourself 30 minutes to an hour of quiet time and really figure out like, do I love myself when I'm single? Do I love myself when I'm alone? Do I enjoy myself? Just being by myself, doing my own shit. And it may not be, oh, every single day you gotta enjoy. No, like you wanna go out with friends and stuff like that. Do you enjoy hanging out with your friends, being single? Like if you don't enjoy your life being single and enjoy your life when you're hanging out with your buddies, just that, no relationship, then you need to get to a point in time where you do. And you need to identify what's holding you back from being happy, being holistically like grounded and level. Because until you do, you're gonna keep on putting out this unfulfilled, unhappy, whatever type of vibe, whether it's a fixing vibe or a being taken advantage vibe or just not standing up for yourself, not being like loving yourself vibe. And I'm going to tell you, not only are you going to attract those type of people, but even if it's just something as simple as you are kind of not solidified and not broken and don't love yourself 100%, you're going to have a really hard time 9 times out of 10 attracting somebody who does love themselves, who is completely grounded and completely whole. And so if you keep on having that issue, you need to really sit down with yourself and work through what you need to work on, what you need to do. If you need to be single, whatever it may be, to get more holistically happy with the way your life is by yourself. And if you can't do that by yourself, my recommendation is to go see a therapist or a counselor or talk to somebody one-on-one. Again, the whole reason why, and I know it's weird saying this over a video, so like I understand like what I'm saying and like how it translates to people if you watch this far, but the reason why I want to do all this stuff is I want to be able to help people. I want to be able to do one-on-one coaching with people at some point in time in the future, because whether it's free or not, it really doesn't matter, just because the whole point is that there are a lot of people out there that need help, that need someone to talk to, and I feel like sometimes it's easier to talk to somebody you don't know. And at first it's really awkward, I'm not going to lie, because I've done therapy before, but after that first time or two, it gets so much easier because you don't see this person every day. There's no judgment because they're not involved in your life. And like, I'm not gonna say that they don't care, because they do care, but they're not, their care is from a third party. It's not like they're actually involved, and they're gonna give you some hard truth. And I think that's the thing about why I like doing these videos and why I want to do this, is that I try and be as tactful as possible, which means like I try and be as respectful as I can, but I'm also going to tell people the hard truth. And I feel like a lot of friends, a lot of family, significant others won't give you that hard truth when it comes to real shit. Like, literally, for example, I know it's kind of like a random side note tangent, but you know I don't give a shit. These are my fucking videos. I've literally had a friend before who never asked me for advice, so I never gave it to him. But he was telling me about a situation within his relationship, and he has a very serious long-term relationship with one woman. And the things that he was describing that was going on with his partner sounded 100,000% like from my life experience, other people's life experience, like his girl was cheating on him. But he was just venting to me about the shit that was happening, but never asked me like my opinion or my thoughts or wanted to sit down and get my advice. But I can confidently tell you that if you would have asked me, I would have straight up told him what I thought. And it's not that I would have said it like a dick and been like, oh, your girl's fucking cheating on you, get the fuck out of there. But I would have asked him the questions that he needs to ask to start asking himself, like, okay, what does this mean? What does that mean? What the fuck's actually going on? So at the end of the day, I'm doing these videos to help people. The goal is to help 100 million people. No bullshit. That's what I want to accomplish, what I want to do. Whether it's life or relationships or fitness, I don't care what it is. That is the whole point. So there's the goal of obviously getting to the point in time where I can do it more one-on-one, but right now these YouTube videos are the best way to try and spread awareness, improve people's lives, whether it's in small little ways like brightening somebody's day because I do a smart ass funny Q&A like I did the other day, or if it literally completely changes somebody's life, or somewhere in the middle where it changes their relationships with their family, their friends, or some aspect of their life and it improves it more than completely changing their life, obviously. So what I would ask is, if you do end up watching it this far, you do watch these videos, I would greatly appreciate if you did get anything from the video. If you feel like someone you know would get anything from the video, please share the content, share the page with them, share it somehow, some way. Excuse me, again, if you don't want to share this specific thing because you're like, oh, I don't want to offend somebody, share my page. The whole point is to help people. The whole point is to improve people's lives, and 100 million people is a lot of people, so the best way for that to get done sooner than later, and maybe move the goal from 100 million to 200 million, is for people to share the content. Because I don't want to ask people to like or subscribe. I don't want to cut my videos. I don't want to edit stuff. I want to be authentic. I want to be a real person, and I don't want to have those edit cuts, and I don't want to be like, oh, subscribe and like and ring the bell, and I don't like that. It's bullshit. Because the whole point of doing this is helping people, and I believe that if I'm doing my job, if people are getting stuff out of what I'm putting out in the universe, that'll all happen in like the time it's meant to happen. So again, that's what I got right now. At this point in time, I am going to answer a few questions live. It's something I do at the end of every video. So if you want to ask questions live about the topic I'm talking about, or any other topic that you want to ask, feel free. If you want to message me directly, you can. I'll answer questions that way as well. Or if you want to put it in the comments on a YouTube video or in Facebook or Instagram or wherever, I will make sure that I answer everybody's questions, because again, that is the whole point, is help people. Even if it's something super, super small, I don't care. It's improving somebody's life just this much, and that's the whole point. So that is what I have for everyone watching this YouTube video and making it through this long little mini rant. So for all the YouTube friends out there, thank you guys for watching very, very much. I greatly appreciate it. Until next time, guys, which will be Saturday, stay healthy, stay safe. I'll talk to you guys real soon. Bye.